Hi, everybody. All right, another day. Here we go. It's going to be about portals, resonance, and the language of creation. Have you ever thought or felt like Earth itself is alive? Shifting, humming, speaking in a language we're only beginning to remember. And why I think this is like a good topic is to get us to start connecting more with the earth. And with earth, that brings awareness to ourselves. So that's why I thought this was kind of important to do. And I hope you like it. So we call them portals, but what are they really? I believe they're points of resonance, access nodes that shift not randomly, but in harmony with the earth as it moves through the vast energetic fields of space. And our shifts, our poles are shifting now, and they have been for quite some time. And I have like a feeling about this, and like some people get upset about it, but I mean, it's natural for the earth to change, just like we change. The earth has its points of change as well. And the poles are shifting, which means that the earth is spinning quicker. And some of it, they say, because it moves quicker, that it affects us. It could make us, our energies a little bit up and down. And I think I feel that. But other people have said things as well. And I believe that Mother Earth is what I call her, is she's already made up her mind that she's going to make the change. And nothing is going to be able to stop it because it needs to change. The density is too thick. It's become too thick for us and for her. So it has to change. So getting back to the portals, think of it like a cue ball on a pool table. Strike it from just slightly a different angle, and after bouncing off the rails, it lands in a completely new place. In some way, as Earth drifts through cosmic harmonics, her portals, her vortex nodes shift, sometimes by meters and sometimes by miles. And this is happening. This isn't just a theory. Like as in music and audio, we see the same thing. Frequencies create pockets. Constructive interference here and then silence over there. And resonance always leaves a signature. And then there's water. Water is not just a liquid. It's a memory keeper. Just like we saw with Dr. Emoto, putting the words on the water, and a positive word, the water would crystallize, where a negative word would become inside the glass, the water would become cloudy and black even, like with the word hate when he did that. I always thought that was the most interesting study that he did, because water is alive and our body is made of water. Some studies suggest it can hold structured information, a kind of energetic imprint. Imagine water carrying resonance, even carrying the signal of DNA itself. Suddenly, water is no longer passive, but it becomes a bridge and a transmitter of frequency and memory. Just like the Dr. Emoto. If we're constantly saying bad things about ourselves, like, oh, I hate myself, or I'm no good, well, you're crystallizing on the inside those words. And it's leaving a resonance. But if you're saying beautiful things, I'm beautiful, or, I feel good, you say positive things, then that will reflect on the inside. Now imagine this applied to the human blueprint. Nature already shows us that this is possible. The immortal jellyfish, able to regress and begin its life again. And our DNA carries similar potential. With the right building blocks and the right amino acids and the right frequencies, it's possible to convince our DNA to return to an earlier state, literally resetting our body's clock. And this is what Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about, which is fascinating. And I was listening a lot to him when I was trying to get pregnant and I was on IVF. And it was very interesting, a lot of things that he said. But also, going back to the jellyfish, which I found Apple right now, their homepage talks about the immortal jellyfish, or says something about it, and got me thinking about this. But this is why it's so important to your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions play a gigantic part on your DNA. If you're always thinking and saying even out loud, God, I'm sick and tired and I'm getting so old, or you're chasing, like a lot of people are chasing the fountain of youth right now. They're doing everything they can possible and which is fine. There's, if people want to do that, like I want to go get a neck job, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm not trying to act like I'm, want to chase something, but, it just looks better, right? But I mean, some people are like, injecting blood, and they have somebody who's really healthy, and then they get the person's blood and then they inject it into themselves. Like, it makes them younger. So, but I think that we even have the potential to not even do any of that and to regress by doing other things, which you have control of, which is your mindset. I really do believe that. And fasting can help as well. So you have to be careful with fasting and consult your doctor. Because some people, it's hard on, I guess, if you're not, all the way healthy is what I mean. So, but here's the mystery. It can only be done with the jellyfish a limited number of times. Like cells themselves, there's a cycle, a rhythm, a boundary to how many times they can rewind, which I found that interesting with the immortal jellyfish. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? And what about time itself? Some speak of time slip streams, which is fascinating to me. Corridors we can step into. Alternate experiences that don't necessarily rewrite the whole story, but give us a side path that detours and glimpse into the parallel contents of existence. Now, I had that happen to me when I had my 4.5 minute grand mal seizure. I slipped into what is called a time slip stream. And I spoke to my surgeon I had it done in New York City, my brain surgery, and he was fantastic. I mean, just top notch, one of the best. I got so lucky that I got him. My friend from London, her mother helped Quentin and I, and referred us and everything. And I was in 5 days and had brain surgery. But I told him what happened to me during my 4.5 minute grand mal seizure. I lost complete consciousness and I went into another realm. And that happened during my brain surgery as well, which I talked to him about. And he's very familiar. He's heard so many stories. And it was interesting, then he shared a couple with me from other patients of his. But I rose above my body during my brain surgery. And it was the A team. That's what, right before I went out, he said, okay, we've got the A team here. And I just did a quick glance and I was gone. But one of the A team members accidentally dropped a tool on my forehead, which I have a scar today. And her name was Jennifer. And so when I was in recovery, he had come by, my doctor or my surgeon, and had, wanted to know if I was all right. And I wanted to get out by 36 hours, but they said no, but I fought my way out. And I left in 36 hours with having brain surgery, because I don't like hospitals and I don't like stuff injected in me. But we started talking and I said, yes, I know Jennifer dropped the tool. And he said, oh, did one of the staff let you know? We're so sorry, because I had a Band-Aid and stuff on. And I said, no. And I said, nobody told me anything. I mean, I saw from above. And he said, tell me more. So I told him the story. And he said, yes, other people that has happened to, like near death, like when they're in the operating room, and he was the surgeon, and he said, did you have a signal that you weren't going to come back? And I said, no, it was purely, I didn't feel like I was going to die or anything. I didn't have any of that, but I felt the pull up, and then I could see the room. And I mean, it's like a stadium. It's all steel. And it's incredible. And they have these incredible TVs everywhere. Like technology is everywhere around the table where I was getting my, having my brain surgery. And I mean, I was looking from above and I was watching everybody. And it was like, they were so professional and so great, and they moved so fast. And I saw it all, and I was telling him what they were doing. I heard certain things they said, and then that's when he knew that, of course, that you didn't speak to anybody, because how would they're not going to tell you that. And he said, yes, we said that. But this is common. So Be aware, though, because you don't have to have an operation to go into the time slipstreams either. You can do that through meditation, which I have done after my brain surgery, because I started studying it. I got really into, like, I want to know, how did this happen? So my takeaway is this, is that resonance is the hidden language of creation. And it speaks through portals shifting on the earth. It speaks through water holding of the memory. And it speaks through DNA reminding us we are not fixed but fluid. And it even speaks through time itself, offering us new ways to experience reality. So be open. That's what Ray Dalio always says, which I love. I believe it so much. If you close yourself off, you're going to miss out. Be open to listen to other people that maybe, I don't know, that's not really, but be open. It's not going to hurt you to be open. You might find something little in it. So everything is resonance. Everything is vibration. And if we learn to listen, we can begin to co-create with the very frequency of life itself. So let's do it. Thank you all for coming to my channel. And if you like what you hear, subscribe, pass on the information to others. And thank you very much. And I'll see you at the next video. Bye for now.